Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia, and if you're not new here, then thank you so much for coming back. I just finished 31 days of art, completing Mabgrave's Drawlloween art challenge over on Instagram, so I thought I would take you through all the pieces that I made, talk about some of the inspiration and my thoughts about the challenge and things that I learnt from it. So let's go. Okay, so here is my big stack of Drawlloween pieces. Last year I did an October art challenge and I did it all in my sketchbook, and I'll link my sketchbook tour up above so you can have a look at that. But it was kind of cool this year to do individual pieces, so now I have this huge stack of artwork which I kind of really love. So day one, now I've taken you through the first week in detail, and I'll link that video up above as well, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about the first week's pieces here. But we had day one, spooky self-portrait, day two, witch, day three, werecat, day four, vampire. This one's one of my favorites. Day five was haunted. Day six was botanical beasts with our little catnip cat. We had day seven, fairy, which was the Kylie Minogue's The Green Fairy from Moulin Rouge. And now we're going to get into the rest of the month. So I'll start talking about these pieces in a little bit more detail. So day eight was mushroom, and I didn't want to do standard but very cool looking red capped mushroom with the white dots. And when I started researching mushrooms and Google image searching them, I found the ink cap, which is something we don't have in the Southern Hemisphere. So I had never seen one of these before and I thought it looked pretty cool. So I just painted that on top of some neon pink. So that was my little mushroom. Day nine was finfolk. And so finfolk is actually something separate to a mermaid, though the Finn wife often presents as a really beautiful woman with golden hair and a fishtail. It's a really interesting myth about the Finn folk who abduct humans to marry and enslave. So yeah, pretty interesting tale. So here is the Finn wife trying to lure a human man in with her beauty to marry and make him do all the chores around the house forever, I guess. Day 10, this was a really quick, like I had an off day. The prompt was pumpkin, so I just did a neon orange wash of paint with a little bit of charcoal over the top. Did some corpse paint on a pumpkin. That was it. Day 11 was web, and this is another one that I kind of didn't love at the time. I don't know if I still don't really love it, but I did like painting the white web on top of the dark background, and I put a little spider in as well. So that was me web. Day 12, started getting my mojo back and sort of concentrating a little bit more on what I was doing. So day 12 was toad, and I really love the way this one turned out. I used the Holbein luminous red throughout his spots, and I think it just really added something to the piece. Never drawn a frog before or painted a frog before, so I kind of like this little toad. Day 13, the prompt was Frankenstein, and so I had to paint the iconic Bride of Frankenstein. I painted this on top of a neon underpainting, as you can see, and I let it show through quite a lot because I think it added just a little bit extra to the black and white monochrome painting, and I love the way this one turned out. Day 14's prompt was Goth Moth. Initially for this one I had thought that I would just do like a moth, like an actual moth creature in like corpse paint, that sort of thing. But then I found the reference for this moth. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it on the screen. This moth that actually has this like black upside down cross on its wings, on its back. And I started thinking about like a goth woman wearing like a sort of furry jacket that has the moth markings on it and the little antennas as a headband. So that's what I did. Focus. And I really love the way this one turned out. I used gouache and some pencil. She's cool. I'd hang out with her. Day 15's prompt, we had Reaper, and I just did this little neon goth, little classic Reaper, very sort of quick, loose style in gouache, and I love the way this one turned out. I only used 3 colors. I used a blue, a brown, and a white, other than the underpainting. And I got all of those tones and the grey tones by mixing the blue and the brown. So I love using limited colour palettes as well when I paint, because having limited palettes, you're sort of forced to mix them together and you create the most amazing shades that you may never known about before. So that was my little Reaper. So our prompt for day 16 was Black Lagoon. And as soon as I saw this reference photo, and I'll pop it on the screen here so you can have a look, this was an previously unpublished photo, like promo still from a Life magazine shoot. And as soon as I saw it, it was just screaming at me to be yassified. So I had a lot of fun with this one, putting those big juicy lips and the lashes and her cute nails. This was a really fun one to do. Day 17 was Ghoul. I just did one of the nameless ghouls from Ghost in some alcohol markers. This was quite a fun one to do. Day 18, our prompt was Ominous Owl. And this is actually the Boo Book owl, and I have these in the back of my yard in the tree. I hear them at night. They're really cute owls. They're not ominous at all. I just made the background kind of ominous with those kind of like stormy clouds. They're a beautiful little owl. I love the way this one turned out. Had a really good time painting with gouache throughout this challenge. I'm fairly new to it, and actually the first time I started painting with gouache was in the last October challenge that I did, the Facetober. So looking back at those pieces, I've definitely come a long way with my technique and the supply. So yeah, I'm really happy with this one. Day 19 was classic horror. And when I think classic horror, I think Argento. And I did do a full video making this piece and talking about all the horror movies I've been watching this month. So I will link that up above so you can check that out as well. So I won't go into too much detail about this one, but yeah, I'm really stoked with the way this one turned out as well. I think it's great. From Suspiria. Day 20, our prompt was extraterrestrials. So I painted the extraterrestrial E.T. I saw this movie in the cinemas when I was a kid and I absolutely loved it. And it really freaked me out when, spoiler alert, when the scientists captured him and he was going all white. That's terrified me when I was a kid. Like it really, really affected me. And I love this movie, and so I had to paint little E.T. in some gouache, and I love the way this one turned out. Super cute. Day 21, our prompt was Crow, and when I was searching for reference photos, I came across this photo on Unsplash, which is a royalty-free photo site. It was a photo, it was just like this majestic portrait of a crow, and so I used that as reference to paint this, and I love the way this one turned out. I used lots of dark tones and then just added in sort of the highlighted areas. This was painted in gouache, and I think I'm going to make a print of this one. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Day 22, our prompt was magic. And I started thinking about how we're all magic and how creating art is creating magic. And so this is a self-portrait. I think your words and your intentions can create magic. And yeah, just if you're a creative person, whether you write or play music, or you're a visual artist or a photographer, like anything, that's all magic. Like making something from your hands is beautiful and magic. And so there's sort of some gold gel pen you can see there with the little, it's intentionally like barbed wire, looks like barbed wire, because if you're an artist and you're watching this, you'll understand it's kind of like a double-edged sword sometimes. Like there's a lot of self-doubt and imposter syndrome involved with the magic. So yeah, it's all part of it. But it is important to remember that you are magic, you create magic. I like the way this turned out. I'm obsessed with this Holbein luminous red. It's just my favorite color at the moment. Using it in a lot of these pieces. All right, here's another fun one. Day 23's prompt was yokai, and this is a Japanese mythological creature, and there's actually a lot of them. I didn't realize how many yokai there was. So this yokai specifically is the Jorogumo, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I'm terribly sorry if I am. But she is a type of golden orb weaver spider who lures. Now she can be either in full spider form or full female form as a woman, or half and half. So this one, I painted her as half and half, and she will lure young lonely men to her web and torture them and slowly poison them over days and enjoy that. So she will often live with their remains. So here she is with her skulls of her victims. Cute. Day 24, our prompt was nocturnal, and I really wanted to do an Australian native animal. And we have quite a lot of nocturnal animals. So I actually chose the grey-headed flying fox. It's the largest bat in Australia, and they have a really like dog-like little face. Their wingspan is about 1 meter in length, and they have a little like reddish brown collar around their neck, and they're kind of fluffy and they're very cute. And so here is the little, well, not little, big flying fox. Day 25's prompt was horned, and so I just did like a ram with horns and kept this to a very limited color palette as well, with my luminous red as the underpainting. And yeah, didn't spend too much time on this one. Day 26 was tower, and I've always kind of wanted to do like tarot cards, tarot art. So I actually just did like my own little tower card from the tarot. The tower card can be quite a shock when you pull it, but it's sort of change and upheaval can be distressing at the time, especially when you're not expecting it. But there's so many lessons that can be learned, and ultimately it's a good thing. and change is really the only thing we can count on. So yeah, tarot card's not all that bad. Wash of neon purple watercolor and just went over the top with some fine liner and then a gel pen in gold at the end for the lightning bolts. Day 27 is the biggest piece. You'll notice previously that I've either been doing like the A5 size or I cut the A5s in half to make an A6. Most of my pieces have been the smaller A6, a few have been the A5s. But for this one, day 27, I went full A4. So this is the biggest piece for the month. The prompt for this day was mythological. Yeah, mythological. And last year I'd also done I'm a Wonder's October prompt list mythical pinups. So last year I'd already done 12 full illustrations from mythology. So I didn't want to do someone I'd already done before. So for this one, I chose Hecate. Hecate is the ancient Greek goddess of the moon and witchcraft, ghosts. She's often depicted with the three faces and the torches. She'll help guide you through the darkness. She's cool. She's got these cool hellhounds, little snake. I'm pretty happy with this one. I don't love her face so much. I like the other two a lot. But yeah, I worked on this one all day. So this was like, all the others were relatively quick. And I think that's what made the month a success for me, is I didn't put too much pressure on to do like full pieces like this. If I had approached every prompt like this one, I never would have finished. Like I never would have even finished a week. So it was kind of nice to do like one big piece in the month, but I'm kind of glad I only kept it to one. So the next day, day 28, Hunter's Moon, I kept it really simple. I did a wash of neon watercolor as the underpainting, and I was going to develop the moon and paint the moon fully, but then I just got two fine liners out, one really fine liner and one with a thicker nib, and I just did some vertical lines to sort of shade it. And it's really simple. It was quite a quick one to do. I needed it after that day. And for this challenge, I did do a piece every single day. I started the challenge on the 3rd of October, so I did spend one night doing a few pieces to catch up. But other than that, I've completed like one piece every day. So that's something I sort of wanted to talk about with the October art challenges, is that while I spent each day doing a piece, hi, editing me here in these, towards the end of this video here, I keep looking down. It's because the paintings are in front of me on the desk, and as I'm talking about them, I'm looking at them and thinking about them. So it's kind of annoying, and I'm sorry about that. Also, this video is kind of long, so sorry, grab a snack. Thanks for being here. Love you, bye. Everyone approaches them differently. Like that can be the intention, is to do art every day. Some people, the lists go out quite a bit before the 1st of October. So some people prepare like a lot in advance to create full illustrations. I don't like to put that much pressure on myself. Like I'm so stoked that I finished 31 pieces. It can then become like a lot of pressure to have these like really finished illustrations, and I think that's why I did my first October challenge just in my sketchbook last year, because it didn't feel like it was as much pressure. At the moment, like with my like long COVID symptoms, I'm so wiped out. I'm not really doing anything else at the moment. So I had the time to sit in the studio every day and complete a piece. But it can sort of be hard to juggle that. I want to make everything perfect and I want to do everything amazing and have like a full finished piece for my Instagram feed. And like with social media in general, it's such a curated best of the best. Like it's your highlight reel, basically, right? It's your highlights. So when you're participating in an October challenge and it's something for every day, not every day is going to be like your best work, or you're going to be like 100% happy with every single piece. So it's kind of cool to sort of let some of that go, as hard as it can be sometimes. I don't think there's a right way to approach it or a wrong way to approach it. I think just participating at whatever level, however you want to do it, is cool. Like I like that you can sort of make it work to whatever works best for you, you know? Yeah. I don't know. All right, back to the art. All right, so day 29's prompt was Wolfman, and my first thought for this, I was going to do J. Fox in Teen Wolf, but then I started thinking about probably the first werewolf on screen that made an impact on me, and that was An American Werewolf in London. And thank you to the best effects makeup artist Rick Baker for creating this wolf man on screen. The transformation of this man turning into a werewolf is unbelievable. And like, I love physical special effects. It's like I was talking about before, when you create something with your hands, it's magic. And physical special effects is literally magic. Like, if you haven't seen this movie, highly recommend. Go watch it. American Werewolf in London. So good. This transformation is everything. So I just painted him in gouache with a little bit of fine liner and some pencil. Obviously with the full moon in the back. So the prompt for day 30 was spooky, scary. Yeah, spooky, scary skeletons. I was initially thinking like I'm just going to do some like really simple skeletons, like from that old Disney film from 1929, The Skeleton Dance, and just like draw them because that'll be quick and easy. And then I started thinking about the art of the dance macabre, the art of dance macabre, macabre. Dance macabre. I don't know. Am I saying that wrong? It sounds wrong. Anyway, so I was thinking about that. Then I just saw a reference of this man and a lady dancing, and she's sort of got her legs out in the back, and I just sort of turned them into skeletons. So they're having a little twirl. I just used one fine liner for this. It's all freehand. It's anatomically incorrect, but it's cute, right? They're having a little twirl. I love them. Yeah, so that was day 30. Lucky last. Day 31's prompt was rest in peace. This is a little illustration of my dad. My dad passed away in 2021. Matt Braves had posted on her Instagram that rest in peace can be literally just like a rest day. Take a rest, you've done 30 days of art. I wanted to do this picture of my dad. I think it was really fitting as well to start the challenge with a self-portrait and end with a portrait of him. This is peak my dad, young in his beard with his motorbike club jumper on at a barbecue. This is how I like to remember him. I just used alcohol markers in this like I did with my self-portrait. Bit different, but you know, can you see the family resemblance? Yeah, I'm more like him than I care to admit. He would, yeah, he liked this look when I did do it in 2018. So yeah, I thought I would start with me, end with a portrait of Dad, and that's my 31 days. So yeah, I have now so many pieces of art. I think I'm going to make some prints out of some of them. Mostly I'm just so stoked to have this like full collection of pieces. Like it's just, there's no other time of the year where I think I would be able to go like a finished piece every day. But it's just sort of shown me that if I dedicate the time and, you know, put aside a couple hours, I can. Not every piece has to be like a full thought out painted illustration. Some things can be a little simpler, and that's okay. So I've learned a lot doing this challenge. I learned that I really love working with fine liners. I use them a lot this month. They're not usually a supply I usually use to create art with. Like I'll use them to do details and things like that, but doing like line work illustrations is not something I usually do. So it's kind of cool to have learnt that I can just grab like one supply on top of some paint and create something cool. And you know, that's something I can do on the couch. That's something like when I'm painting, and if you paint, you'll know, like it's a whole process. Like I've got the brushes out, I've got the water, palette. I've got to make sure the cats aren't in the studio, because if the cats are here, I've had so many wet paint disasters with them landing, like jumping on my desk, landing in the paint, tracking paint footsteps everywhere. I've just like a fine liner to be able to create a piece of art is pretty cool. The thing I love about prompt lists is that you get different subject matter. So I'm primarily a portrait artist. I love painting and drawing portraits. Like I've never done a frog before. I've never done like a lot of birds before. So it was cool doing things like that. I like to put a bit of research into all my pieces as well. So I've got a little bit of background knowledge on what I'm painting and drawing. So I learned new things about myths and mythology, some new things there. A lot out of this challenge this month, and I'm really stoked to have found this prompt list. I'll definitely be participating next year again, I think. I've connected also with a lot of new artists that I didn't know before through this challenge, and that's been really cool as well. It's been such a supportive, encouraging community and time for me when I've really needed it. So that's something that is worth worth participating at all. But yeah, so whatever level you participated at, it's all a win. The fact that we're sitting down in this crazy timeline, making physical art when barely anything other than ourselves and our artistic community encourages us to make art. Making physical, like sitting down and creating something with your hands, whether it's digital art or, you know, traditional media, is so valuable. It's something like this. There's obviously been so much discourse about AI art a lot this entire year, and I have so many thoughts about it, and I'm not gonna go into it fully here, but like AI could never, you know, this is magic. This is where the magic is. Art is special and incredible because humans made it, because you made it. Don't ever forget that. It's really important. This is like a rebellious act of resistance in capitalism and AI art to sit down and paint something every single day. It's the best. So anyway, rambling. Thanks so much for watching this video. Stick around and subscribe if you would like more random thoughts and inspiration behind the things I make. Let me know if you took part in an October art challenge. Did you finish it? What did you learn? Did you meet some cool new artists? Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.